The Charisma Myth by Olivia Cabane reveals that charisma isn't innate. It's a learnable skill. In this summary, you'll discover how to project presence, power, and warmth using practical techniques rooted in neuroscience and psychology. Whether you're a leader, speaker, or just want to improve how you're perceived, this book helps you boost your personal magnetism and command respect without sacrificing authenticity. Charisma gets people to like you, trust you, and want to be led by you. It can determine whether you're seen as a follower or a leader, whether your ideas get adopted, and how effectively your projects are implemented. Like it or not, charisma can make the world go round. It makes people want to do what you want them to do. It's not magic. It's learned behaviors. Contrary to popular belief, people are not simply born charismatic, innately magnetic from birth. If charisma were an inherent attribute, charismatic people would always be captivating. And that's just not the case. Extensive research in recent years has shown that charisma is the result of specific nonverbal behaviors, not an inherent or magical personal quality. One reason charisma is mistakenly held to be innate is that, like many other social skills, charismatic behaviors are generally learned early in life. People usually don't consciously realize they are learning these behaviors. They're just trying new actions, seeing the results, and refining them. Eventually, these behaviors become instinctive. What does charismatic behavior look like? When we first meet someone, we instinctively assess whether that person is a potential friend or foe, and whether they have the power to enact those intentions. We aim to assess their power and intentions. When you meet a charismatic person, you get the impression that they have a lot of power and they like you a lot. The equation that produces charisma is actually fairly simple. All you have to do is give the impression that you possess both high power and high warmth, since charismatic behaviors project a combination of these two qualities. Chapter 1. Charisma Demystified. Charismatic individuals, consciously or not, choose specific behaviors that make others feel a certain way. These behaviors can be learned and perfected by anyone. Common charisma myths. One common myth is that you must be naturally boisterous or outgoing to be charismatic. Interestingly, research shows that even introverts can be very charismatic. Another myth is that attractiveness is a prerequisite for charisma. Many charismatic figures didn't fit classic beauty standards. For instance, Winston Churchill was not considered handsome, and certainly not known for his sex appeal, yet he was one of history's most influential and powerful leaders. Quick tips for an instant charisma boost. 1. Lower the intonation of your voice at the end of your sentences. 2. Reduce how quickly and how often you nod. 3. Pause for 2 full seconds before you speak. These new skills and behaviors may feel odd at first, just like brushing your teeth did when you first learned how. However, with practice, they can become second nature, enhancing your charisma effectively. Chapter 2. The Charismatic Behaviors. Presence, Power, and Warmth. Charismatic behavior can be broken down into 3 core elements: presence, power, and warmth. To be charismatic, we need to adopt mental states that make our body language, words, and behaviors express these 3 core elements. 1. Presence. Have you ever felt, in the middle of a conversation, as if only half of your mind were present, while the other half was busy doing something else? Do you think the other person noticed? If you're not fully present in an interaction, there's a good chance your eyes will glaze over, or your facial reactions will be a split-second delayed. We may think we can fake presence or listening, but we're wrong. When we're not fully present, people notice. Presence is a learnable skill. Like any other ability, from painting to playing the piano, you can increase it with practice and patience. Being present means having moment-to-moment awareness of what's happening. Putting it into practice, presence. Here are a few techniques for remaining present, adapted from mindfulness disciplines. Set a timer for 1 minute. Close your eyes and focus on one of the following 3 things: the sounds around you, your breathing, or the sensations in your toes. Sounds. Scan your environment for sound. Your breath. Focus on the sensations in your nostrils or stomach as you breathe. Your toes. Focus on the sensations in your toes. The next time you're in a conversation, regularly check whether your mind is fully engaged or wandering. Bring yourself back to the present by focusing on your breath or your toes for a second. Then return your attention to the other person. Being charismatic does not depend on how much time you have, but on how fully present you are in each interaction. When you are fully present, people feel they have your full attention and that they are the most important thing in the world to you at that moment. Every time you bring yourself back to full presence, you become more impactful, memorable, and grounded. Power and warmth. Being seen as powerful means being perceived as able to affect the world around us, whether through influence, authority, money, expertise, intelligence, physical strength, or social status. Warmth is goodwill toward others, indicating whether people will use their power in our favor. Being seen as warm means being perceived as benevolent, altruistic, caring, or willing to positively impact the world. Warmth is assessed almost entirely through body language and behavior and is evaluated more directly than power. Throughout our interactions, we instinctively look for clues to evaluate warmth and power, adjusting our assumptions accordingly. Expensive clothing suggests wealth. Friendly body language suggests good intentions, and a confident posture suggests confidence. Both power and warmth are necessary for charisma. Someone who is powerful but not warm can be impressive, but not necessarily charismatic, and may come across as arrogant, cold, or standoffish. Charismatic body language. For charisma, your body language matters far more than your words. Since we can't consciously control all our body language, we can't just broadcast charismatic body language at will. To get all the signals right, we'd need to control thousands of elements simultaneously, from minute vocal fluctuations to the precise degree of tension around our eyes. Our body language expresses our mental state, whether we like it or not. Facial expressions, voice posture, and other components reflect our mental and emotional condition every second. Because we don't control this flow consciously, whatever is in our head will show up in our body language. Therefore, to be effective, charismatic behaviors must originate in your mind. The internal skills for charisma. The internal skills necessary for charisma include awareness of your internal state and the tools to effectively manage it. The key insight is that your mind can't tell fact from fiction. Whatever your mind believes, your body will manifest. By getting into a charismatic mental state, your body will manifest charismatic body language. This mind-over-body effect also has a downside called the nocebo effect, where the mind creates toxic consequences in the body from fictional causes. Both the placebo effect and the nocebo effect play critical roles in unleashing our full charisma potential. By understanding and practicing presence, power, and warmth, and by managing our internal states, we can develop and enhance our charisma effectively. Chapter 3. The Obstacles to Presence, Power, and Warmth. Increasing your charisma requires first understanding which internal obstacles are inhibiting your personal charisma potential. Physical discomfort. Any physical discomfort that affects your visible, external state, your body language, can influence how charismatic you are perceived to be. Physical discomfort not only affects your external state, but also your internal state. Forms of discomfort like hunger can impair your performance in multiple ways. To counteract charisma-impairing physical discomfort, follow these steps: prevent, recognize, remedy, or explain. Prevent. Plan ahead to avoid discomfort. Choose clothing that keeps you comfortable, not too hot or cold, and avoid anything itchy or ill-fitting. Recognize. Be aware of your physical state. Check in with your face to see if it is tense. Remedy. If you notice tension, take action to alleviate it. Explain. If the discomfort cannot be alleviated, explain it to others to prevent them from taking your tension personally. Mental discomfort. Mental discomfort can result from anxiety, dissatisfaction, self-criticism, or self-doubt, all of which are forms of internal negativity that can hinder our charisma potential. 1. Anxiety caused by uncertainty. Robert Leahy, director of the American Institute for Cognitive Therapy, notes that his patients often prefer a negative diagnosis over being left in suspense. Our inability to tolerate uncertainty can cause us to make premature decisions, reveal too much in negotiations, and most importantly, feel anxious, anxiety being a serious drawback to charisma. Our minds are fundamentally uncomfortable with uncertainty. The moment our brain registers ambiguity, it flashes an error signal, creating tension that must be corrected before we can feel comfortable again. Putting it into practice. Responsibility transfer. Sit comfortably or lie down, relax, and close your eyes. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Imagine drawing clean air toward the top of your head as you inhale. As you exhale, let that air wash away all worries and concerns. Pick an entity, God, fate, the universe, etc., that you view as benevolent. Imagine lifting the weight of everything you're concerned about and placing it on this entity's shoulders. This practice makes uncertainty less uncomfortable, leveraging the placebo effect, the brain's inability to distinguish between imagination and reality. Dissatisfaction caused by comparison. Humans naturally compare experiences to past events, others' experiences, or ideal images. This cycle impairs charisma by hindering our ability to be fully present. Notice when you're making comparisons and use the responsibility transfer technique to alleviate any internal discomfort. Self-criticism. Self-criticism impacts performance more than how well prepared one is physically. Negative mental states can have real physical consequences. David Rock, founder of the Neuro-Leadership Institute, explains that the threat response impairs analytic thinking, creative insight, and problem-solving. Self-criticism is a silent killer of performance in any field. Self-doubt. Self-doubt is the lack of confidence in one's ability to achieve something. The imposter syndrome, where competent individuals feel they don't really know what they're doing and fear being exposed as frauds, is an extreme form of self-doubt. Interestingly, this syndrome is most prevalent among high performers. While some self-doubt can spur action and hard work, managing it is crucial to unleashing your charisma potential. Conclusion. Understanding and addressing both physical and mental discomforts are key to enhancing your charisma. By managing these internal obstacles, you can unlock your full charisma potential and improve your interactions and influence with others. Chapter 4. Overcoming the obstacles. Skillfully handling any difficult experience is a 3-step process. Destigmatize discomfort, neutralize negativity, and rewrite reality. Let's get started. Step 1. Destigmatize discomfort. Destigmatizing an experience means reducing its power by understanding that it's normal, common, and nothing to be anxious about or ashamed of. Feeling internal discomfort and negativity is a natural part of life. Everyone experiences it. We've developed a habit of viewing any physical or mental discomfort as a sign of something gone awry, perhaps even as something wrong within us. To destigmatize, remind yourself that internal discomfort is a normal part of the human experience and a byproduct of our brain's survival mechanisms. Another way to destigmatize discomfort is to remind yourself that you're not alone in this experience. Shame is the real killer. Of all the emotions, it is one of the most toxic to health and happiness. Shame researcher Brené Brown defines it as the fear of being unlovable. Shame is the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. Often it's not what we feel that is the most painful. It's our shame about feeling this way that really does the damage. Putting it into practice, destigmatizing discomfort. Remember that uncomfortable emotions are normal, natural, and a legacy of our survival instincts. Everyone experiences them from time to time. De-dramatize the experience by thinking of others who've gone through it, especially people you admire. See it as a shared burden. You are part of a community of human beings experiencing this feeling at this very moment. Step 2. Neutralize negativity. The best way to neutralize negativity is to realize that your thoughts aren't necessarily accurate. When your brain spins negative scenarios, remind yourself that you may not be getting an accurate perception of reality. Your brain might be following its negativity bias, emphasizing certain elements and omitting others. Putting it into practice, neutralizing negativity. Don't assume your thoughts are accurate. Just because your mind comes up with something doesn't mean it has any validity. Assume you're missing many positive elements. Assign a label to your negative experience like self-criticism, anger, or anxiety. Naming what you are thinking and feeling can help neutralize it. Depersonalize the experience. Instead of saying, "I'm feeling ashamed," try, "There is shame being felt." Imagine seeing yourself from afar. Zoom out to see planet Earth in space. Then zoom in to see your continent, country, city, and finally, the room you're in. See your small self with electrical impulses whizzing across your brain. Imagine your mental chatter as coming from a radio. See if you can turn down the volume or just put the radio aside and let it chatter away. Rather than trying to suppress a self-critical thought, aim to neutralize it. Step 3. Rewrite reality. Deciding to change your belief about what happened, cognitive reappraisal, effectively decreases the brain's stress levels. In most situations, we don't know for certain what motivates a person's actions, so we might as well choose the explanation that is most helpful to us. Create a version of events that gets you into the specific mental state needed for charisma. The key questions are: which mental state would be most useful in this situation, and which version of reality would help you get there? Putting it into practice, rewriting reality. If traffic is making you late for an important meeting and your anxiety is rising, ask yourself, what if this delay is a good thing? Repeat the question a few times and watch how creative your mind can get with its answers. Putting it into practice, getting satisfaction. Think of one person in your life who has aggrieved you. Take a blank page and write that person a letter saying anything and everything you wish you had ever told them. Really get into this. You have nothing to lose. Write it out by hand. When you've gotten everything off your mind and onto paper, put the letter aside. Take a fresh sheet and write their response just the way you wish they would respond. Have them take responsibility for their actions. Acknowledge and apologize for everything they've done that hurt you. By following these steps, destigmatizing discomfort, neutralizing negativity, and rewriting reality, you can handle difficult experiences more skillfully and enhance your personal charisma. Chapter 5. Creating Charismatic Mental States. For decades, professional athletes have considered visualization an essential tool, often spending hours visualizing their victory, telling their minds what they want their bodies to achieve. Whenever we use our brain, we fire certain neuronal connections, and the more these connections get used, the stronger they become. Visualization essentially wears grooves into our brain. Consistent mental processes strengthen these connections. Due to its powerful mental and physiological effects, visualization is one of the most effective charisma-boosting tools available. Putting it into practice, visualization. Close your eyes and relax. Remember a past experience when you felt absolutely triumphant. For example, recall the day you won a contest or an award. Engage your senses. Hear the murmurs of approval, the swell of applause. See people's smiles and expressions of warmth and admiration. Feel your feet on the ground and the congratulatory handshakes. Experience your feelings. Let the warm glow of confidence rise within you. Gratitude, goodwill, and compassion. Warmth is challenging for many people due to various reasons, such as upbringing, environment, or personality. Step 1. Gratitude and appreciation. Gratitude counters negative feelings like resentment, neediness, and desperation. It stems from recognizing the things you already have, from material items or experiences to cherished relationships. Focus on the present. Sweep through your body from head to toe and find 3 abilities you appreciate. For instance, be grateful for feet and toes that allow you to walk. Scan your environment. Look around and find 3 pleasant sights, even the smallest ones. Use a third-person lens. Describe your life as if you were an outside observer, focusing on positive aspects. Write about your job, the work you do, and the people you work with. Describe your personal relationships and the good things friends and family members would say about you. Take the time to write down this narrative. Just thinking about it won't be as effective. Imagine your own funeral. Visualize your funeral to produce a sense of emotional aliveness and gratitude, realizing you still have your life. Step 2. Goodwill and compassion. Goodwill projects warmth and creates a feeling of warmth in others. Focusing on someone's well-being makes you feel more connected to them, shows across your face, and increases your charisma. Goodwill is the simple state of wishing others well. Start by finding 3 things you like about the person you want to feel goodwill toward, even if they are as small as their shoes are shined or they were on time. Putting it into practice, compassion. Imagine their past. What if you had been born in their circumstances, with their family and upbringing? Consider what it was like growing up in their situation. Imagine their present. Put yourself in their shoes right now. Imagine what it feels like to be them today. See through their eyes. Compassion, dynamite. Ask yourself, what if this were their last day alive? Or imagine their funeral and think about what you would say about them. Step 3. Self-compassion. Self-compassion is how much warmth we can have for ourselves, especially during difficult experiences. It's different from self-indulgence or self-pity. Self-compassion is feeling that what happened to you is unfortunate, while self-pity is feeling that what happened to you is unfair. Self-compassion often leads to increased feelings of connectedness, whereas self-pity can lead to resentment or bitterness. Putting it into practice, self-compassion. List 5 ways you already care for yourself when you're having a hard time. Star the most effective methods. This simple exercise helps start your self-compassion list. By integrating these practices of visualization, gratitude, goodwill, compassion, and self-compassion, you can significantly enhance your charisma and improve your interactions and influence with others. Chapter 6. Different charisma styles. 4 distinct kinds of charisma. Focus, visionary, kindness, and authority. Focus, charisma, presence, and confidence. Elon Musk, co-founder of PayPal and current CEO of Tesla Motors, embodies focus, charisma. You can feel the intensity of his attention and how keenly he listens and absorbs everything you say. His non-verbal body language makes you feel completely listened to and understood. Developing focus, charisma. Focus, charisma requires the ability to focus and be truly present. It can be surprisingly effective, but comes with 2 main risks. If you display too little power, you could come across as too eager and consequently low status, or even subservient. Alternatively, exhibiting too little warmth can lead to attention that is too intense. Focus, charisma is appropriate for almost all business situations and is particularly useful when you need people to open up and share information. Visionary charisma. Belief and confidence. Visionary charisma inspires others and makes them believe in a cause. It is remarkably effective, even though it won't necessarily make people like you. This type of charisma is powerful because of our natural discomfort with uncertainty. Conveying visionary charisma requires the ability to project complete conviction and confidence in a cause. We assess visionary charisma primarily through demeanor, including body language and behavior. If you seem inspired, people will assume you have something to be inspired about. And redirect the question. Graceful exits. Graceful exits are a common challenge for many charismatic people. Here's how to do it. Don't wait too long to end the conversation. Have an official reason for leaving. Offer something of value, such as information, a connection, visibility, or recognition. Wait until your conversation partner finishes a sentence and say, "You know, based on what you've just said, you really should check out this website. If you have a card, I'll send you the link." If the person agreed to meet someone in the room, say, "Let me introduce you," and bring them together. Once a conversation is over, avoid worrying about what you said. Studies from MIT Media Lab showed that people remember how it felt to speak with you, not the specific words used. Chapter 8. Speaking and listening with charisma. Charismatic listening. Listening skills are essential for charisma, and most charismatic individuals possess them in abundance. It's remarkably easy to impress people just by listening attentively. The 3 keys to communicating presence are attentive listening, refraining from interrupting, and deliberate pausing. A few simple tweaks can elevate your listening skills from good to extraordinary. One common mistake is equating listening with letting people talk until it's my turn. Even if the other person is doing all the talking, you can't let your mind wander while waiting for your turn to speak. Good listeners know never to interrupt, even if the impulse comes from excitement about something the other person just said. Great listeners let others interrupt them, allowing the conversation to flow naturally. Master listeners employ one extra trick. They pause before answering. When someone speaks, let your facial expression react first, showing that you're absorbing what they've just said and giving their statement the consideration it deserves. Charismatic speaking. For most charisma, but especially kindness charisma, it's critical to make others feel good about themselves. Benjamin Disraeli's genius was his ability to make whomever he was speaking with feel intelligent and fascinating. Creating positive associations is crucial in both business and social situations, as it impacts how people feel about themselves when they're around you. Taking a compliment. Compliments can feel both pleasant and awkward. The next time you're given a compliment, follow these steps. Stop and absorb the compliment. Enjoy it if you can. Let that moment of absorption show on your face, showing the person that they've had an impact. Thank them. A simple, "Thank you very much" is enough. But you can go further by thanking them for their thoughtfulness or telling them they've made your day. Charismatic people are masters at using positive associations, often making others feel special and wonderful. Don't try to impress people. Let them impress you, and they will love you for it. Get graphic. When you speak, using vivid imagery helps your audience understand and remember your message. Visionary charismatics make full use of the power of images. Presidents rated as charismatic, like Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Abraham Lincoln, used twice as many visual metaphors in their inaugural addresses as non-charismatic presidents. Craft sensory-rich images and metaphors involving as many of the 5 senses as possible. Deliver high value. Deliver value to others in multiple ways. Entertainment. Make your communication enjoyable. Information. Provide interesting or useful content. Good feelings. Make others feel important or good about themselves. Aim to deliver high value for low effort by using few words and lots of pictures, making your communications useful, enjoyable, and entertaining. Tuning your voice. Studies show that audience ratings of a lecture are more influenced by delivery style than by content. Your voice can convey different aspects depending on what you want to communicate. The degree to which your voice fluctuates affects your persuasiveness and charisma. Increase voice fluctuation by varying pitch, volume, tone, tempo, and rhythm. Putting it into practice. Voice fluctuation. Gain insights into your voice fluctuation by practicing sentences with a tape recorder. Repeat a sentence several times with as wide a variation in emotions as possible. Vocal power. To communicate power, adjust your voice. Pitch and tone, lower, more resonant, and baritone voices have more impact. 4. Volume. Learn to project your voice, modulating its volume and aiming it so specific portions of the audience can hear it. Tempo. A slow, measured tempo with frequent pauses conveys confidence. Vocal warmth. To project more warmth in your voice, smile. Smiling affects how we speak to such an extent that it naturally infuses our voice with warmth. Chapter 9. Charismatic Body Language. When verbal and nonverbal signals align. When our verbal and nonverbal signals are congruent, when they agree with each other, the nonverbal amplifies the verbal. When they conflict, we tend to trust the nonverbal over the verbal. Our tendency to react to how something is said more than to what is said is particularly strong in high-stakes situations, whether it's trying to win a new client, impress a new boss, or make a new friend. Emotional contagion. Charismatic people are known to be more contagious. They have a strong ability to transmit their emotions to others. As a leader, the emotions conveyed by your body language, even during brief, casual encounters, can have a ripple effect through your team or even your entire company. Conscious mirroring. The tendency to mimic the body language of others is technically called limbic resonance, and it's hardwired into the human brain. Limbic resonance is made possible thanks to a certain class of neurons called oscillators, which coordinate people physically by regulating how and when their bodies move together. When you consciously mirror someone's body language, you activate deep instincts of trust and liking. For this reason, it can be a great aid when you need people to open up. During your next few conversations, try to mirror the other person's overall posture, the way they hold their head, how they place their feet, the shifts in their weight. If they move their left hand, move your right hand. Because people focus primarily on themselves while interacting, they usually won't notice that you're mirroring. Here are some ways to increase subtlety. Be selective. Do only what feels natural to you. For instance, some gestures are gender-specific. Use variations in amplitude. If they make a big gesture, you could make a smaller one. Use lag time. Let a few seconds elapse before you move into a mirrored position. Personal space. Behavioral scientists can predict which stall people will choose in a communal bathroom with startling accuracy. People consistently follow a specific pattern depending on which stalls are already occupied. Our adherence to personal space rules is so strong. The concept of personal space evolved from mid-20th century studies of zoo animals' behavior. In the same manner that animals define and defend their territories, we humans feel ownership of the space around us. This territory, even if it's just a few inches, is felt as an extension of our bodies, and we act to preserve this space and react strongly if it is invaded. In nonverbal communication, one crucial element for making people feel at ease and establishing rapport is respecting the amount of personal space people need to be comfortable. Let's say you're in a conversation and you notice your conversation partner leaning away with her upper body, pulling her head backward, or even physically stepping away from you. This may be a sign that she needs more personal space. The size of personal space varies by culture, by population density, and by situation. A single individual's comfort zone is in fact highly variable. We will accept personal space restrictions in certain situations, such as when we're in a crowded lift, bus, or tube. Your eyes, the windows to your soul. Good eye contact is incredibly important. Profound eye contact can have a powerful impact on people. It can communicate empathy and give an impression of thoughtfulness, wisdom, and intelligence. Anthropologist Helen Fisher explains that when you stare with intensity at someone, it can speed up their heart rate and send a hormone called phenylethylamine, or PEA, coursing through their bloodstream. PEA is the same hormone that produces the phenomenon we call love at first sight. Eye contact is so meaningful to us that our brains are hardwired to experience separation distress whenever someone with whom we have significant eye contact turns away. Two of the most common eye contact issues people have are lack of eye contact due to the shyness and lack of eye contact due to distraction. Charismatic eye contact means switching to a softer focus. This immediately relaxes our eyes and face and quiets down our stress system. Few things impair charisma more than bad eye contact, and few things gain you charisma points more than improving your eye contact. Getting your eyes right is critical to emanating warmth. The right posture for nonverbal power. Because we can't peer into people's hearts and minds, we assume attributes from the clues we observe. When someone displays high confidence through their body language, we tend to assume they have something to be confident about. People simply accept what you project. Be the big gorilla. Your eyes scan and assess potential obstacles, including other people in your way, to determine whether you need to modify your route to avoid them. You read their body language without even realizing it. If they're broadcasting a body language that says, "You better move aside, baby," you will most likely pick up on it and make way for them. Deborah Gruenfeld, organizational behavior professor at Stanford's Business School, says that powerful people sit sideways on chairs, drape their arms over the back, or appropriate two chairs by placing an arm across the back of an adjacent chair. They put their feet on the desk. They sit on the desk. All of these behaviors, she says, are ways of claiming space. One of the first things I question my clients about when we work on projecting charismatic body language is, what's your breathing like right now? Anytime your breathing is shallow, you activate the stress response. Putting it into practice, being the big gorilla. This is a great exercise to use before any meeting or interaction where you want to both feel and broadcast confidence. Follow these 7 steps to convey confident body language. Make sure you can breathe. Loosen any clothing if need be. Stand up and shake up your body. Take a wide stance and plant your feet firmly on the ground. Stretch your arms to the ceiling, trying to touch it with your fingertips. Now stretch your arms to the walls on either side of you, trying to touch them. Bring your arms loosely to your sides and roll your shoulders up and then back. Inflate. Try to take up as much space as possible. Imagine puffing up like a gorilla, doubling in size. Assuming a strong, confident physical posture will make you feel more confident and more powerful. As you feel more powerful, your body language adapts accordingly. Regal posture. Composed people exhibit a level of stillness, which is sometimes described as poise. They avoid extraneous, superfluous gestures, such as fidgeting with their clothes, their hair, or their faces, incessantly nodding their heads, or saying, before sentences. In contrast, people who come across as powerful, confident, or high status are usually more contained. They don't feel the urge to give so much reassurance because they're not as worried about what their counterpart is thinking. When you want to increase your poise, there are 3 major issues to look out for. The first is excessive or rapid nodding. Nodding once for emphasis or to express agreement is fine and can be an effective communication method, but nodding 3 or 4 times in rapid succession is not. The second hindrance is excessive verbal reassurance. making a sound, such as uh-huh, or a half sentence, such as oh, I agree. Done once and consciously, this is fine. Multiple times per sentence is not. The third issue is restlessness or fidgeting. How to break these habits. The first step is awareness. You need to see how you appear to others. One of the most valuable things you can do is to videotape yourself during a meeting or even a casual conversation. With this newfound awareness, you may catch yourself throughout the day displaying high amounts of verbal and non-verbal reassurance and feel dismayed by how often it occurs. Give yourself a break. Everyone goes through this period of frustration, and it really is possible to break these habits. Catch yourself when you find yourself nodding or verbally reassuring, and try to replace it with stillness and silence. Aim to get comfortable with silence, inserting pauses between your sentences or even mid-sentence. Knowing what to do, and if they're looking insecure and you think they need to be reassured, ramp up the amount of warmth you're projecting. On the other hand, when you'd like to be seen as a confident peer or a respected boss, focus on poise and containment and limit your reassurance, rather than synchronizing your body language with theirs, unless theirs is the very essence of confidence you want to display. Keep to your own rhythms and maintain your confident, contained posture. Chapter 10. Difficult Situations. Dealing with difficult people. Some people are just difficult. Some have egos that need to be stroked. Some are always critical, and others are deliberately confrontational. In many cases, these people make a point of being resistant to being won over. Divide and conquer. Olivia Fox Cabane's first recommendation to Peter was simple. Don't try to win them all over at once. Every time someone sees you, their perception of you is filtered through the context in which you both operate, their internal state, and their personal and cultural filters. The one exception is when you're on stage. The effect of being in the spotlight makes up for the multiple context handicap. But in general, when you have a group of difficult people to convince, you'll have much greater chances of success if you work on each of them individually. One situation might call for focus, charisma. Perhaps you're dealing with a person who needs to feel heard and listened to. Other situations might call for either authority or visionary charisma. For instance, when people are dealing with uncertainty and looking for a clear, compelling vision. Once you know whom you need to persuade and which styles might work best for each person, consider the following recommendations to help win them over. Make them rationalize in your favor. Benjamin Franklin's favorite way to win over his political opponents was not to do them favors, but rather to ask them for favors. This technique has become known as the Ben Franklin effect. Having lent Franklin the book, the opponent had to either consider himself inconsistent, having done a favor for someone he disliked, or rationalize his action by deciding that he actually rather liked Franklin. How can you use this technique to your advantage? You could indeed ask your opponents for their help, or ask them for a favor. Better still, ask them for something they can give without incurring any cost, their opinion. Asking for someone's opinion is a better strategy than asking for their advice, because giving advice feels like more effort, as they have to tailor a recommendation to your situation, whereas with an opinion, they can just spout whatever is on their mind. Express your appreciation and gratitude, highlight the choice they made, the effort they put in, and if they put their reputation on the line for you in any way, play it up. Expressing appreciation. The most effective and credible compliments are those that are both personal and specific. For instance, instead of great job, you could say, you did a great job. Or better yet, the way you kept your calm when that client became obnoxious was impressive. Making people rationalize in your favor is a classic marketing technique often employed by commercial airlines. We know you have many airlines to choose from, and we thank you for choosing to fly with us. Hearing their appreciation reminds us that we had a choice, and that we chose them. What's the result? We will tend to view the airline with greater favor because, after all, we chose it, and we hate to be wrong. Reminding people that they had a choice, and that they chose you, your company, your service, or your suggestion, is one of the most useful tools to maintain their support for you or your idea. You can use rationalization not just for yourself, but for the idea you're supporting. By showing someone the impact they've had on a project or an idea, they will feel a degree of ownership of it, and then instinctively will feel driven to support it. Better yet, show the person how this idea or project was, at its very core, in its very source, inspired by what they did in the past, a similar idea, project, or initiative they supported. Don't go in unprotected. If you need a compassion boost, consider an alternate reality. Imagine that just a few hours ago they saw a beloved parent die. Getting into empathy will protect your mental and emotional state and give you the right body language throughout. If you're in an adversarial mindset, this will be written across your face. Delivering bad news. Before delivering bad news, think about the setting, remembering that people will transfer their feelings for the environment to the experience itself. As much as you can, choose a comfortable location. When you're delivering unpleasant news of any kind, your body language is everything. The right body language for delivering bad news is one of warmth, care, concern, understanding, and empathy. Essentially, demonstrate as much kindness, charisma as you can. Show that you fully understand not just how unwelcome the news is, but also the ramifications it could have for them. Delivering criticism. Unfortunately, criticism, like dental exams, airport security, and depending on whom you ask, taxes, is a necessary evil. You may not like it, but sometimes you just have to do it. There are 4 crucial steps to charismatically delivering criticism. First, think about your timing and the location. Try to be as empathetic as possible in your choice of both. Consider the individual's levels of stress and fatigue. Second, get into the right mindset. One of compassion and empathy. Yes, even when delivering criticism, your compassion will play out across your body language and affect the entire interaction in a positive way. Warmth is also important here. Third, decide exactly what points you want to make. Be specific. Focusing on a few key points rather than making an exhaustive list will prevent the other person from feeling overwhelmed. Fourth, depersonalize. As much as possible, communicate that what you're critiquing is the behavior, not the person. Critical delivery. Human beings remember firsts. The first time something happens, or the beginning of an experience, and we tend to remember lasts as well. If you start your criticism with a positive beginning, it will affect the rest of the experience. In the first moments, when people are most apprehensive, what they need is reassurance. You can give them solid ground to stand on by expressing the fact that you value them, that you recognize their worth as human beings. Once they are reassured of their own worth, people will accept your comments far more easily, and they'll get less defensive. Once you've started on a positive note, you can bring up the actual issue you want to address. Tell people exactly what you want to see from them, as opposed to what you don't want to see. It's absolutely critical throughout difficult conversations to stay attentive to any signals that the other person might be getting defensive. Remember how important beginnings and endings are. They can color the whole interaction. This is when you can put the emphasis on 3 important points. Next steps. Review the steps that will be taken to improve the situation, particularly if you're going to do any of it together. Appreciation. Tell them how much you appreciate how well they took your feedback. Praise even the slightest good effort here. You're providing positive reinforcement, so they'll improve over time. A positive future. Bring up anything that both of you can look forward to in the future, such as exciting events or upcoming projects. Apologies. What to do when things go wrong. Forgiving yourself and getting into a good mental state also helps you avoid appearing overly apologetic, subservient, or insecure. Hear them out. Whether you're apologizing in person or on the phone, your first concern is to let the other person have their say. The simplest and most effective way to do so is just to listen. Give them the complete presence of focus charisma. While you listen, be fully present and try to avoid preparing your response. Instead, focus your entire attention on determining precisely what the complaint is. Goodwill matters here too. Just coming into a conversation with the mindset of, "Help me understand how you see things," can change the outcome completely. Once you're sure that you fully understand the complaint, and if you agree that the fault was yours, a true blue apology is in order. Surprisingly, your wording can be very simple. Again, body language is what really matters. A simple, "I'm very sorry," delivered with full presence and full warmth can work wonders. Chapter 11. Presenting with Charisma. Charismatic public speaking. Charismatic public speaking engages several charisma styles, including visionary, authority, and kindness. Here's how to effectively use each style in your presentations. Constructing a charismatic message. Presentations are often about persuading people. To make your message clear and convincing, focus on a single idea. Identify the most important idea you want to convey and make it clear and understandable. Support with key points. Have 3 to 5 key supporting points. Use engaging openers. Start each point with anecdotes, facts, statistics, metaphors, examples, and analogies. Relatable stories. Choose characters similar to your audience to make your stories relatable and entertaining. Personalize statistics. Make numbers and statistics meaningful and relatable. Creating a charismatic appearance. Your appearance on stage conveys a message. Decide whether you want to project authority, power, or warmth through your clothing. Ensure you feel physically confident and comfortable to move with ease on stage. Rehearsing for charisma. Charisma takes practice. Steve Jobs, known for his stage presence, rehearsed extensively. Record your rehearsals to identify and eliminate any irritants, sounds, or movements that don't add to your message. Projecting power. To project power and confidence on stage, adopt a wide stance. Stand with a wide stance, balanced on both feet. Avoid podiums. Practice speaking without a podium to avoid appearing fearful. Find the right volume. Ensure your voice projects confidence, adjusting for the microphone and sound system. Projecting warmth. To make your audience feel special, give each person 1 to 2 seconds of eye contact as you move around the stage. Though it feels brief, it creates a strong connection. pause, breathe, and slow down. Pause regularly. Note to yourself to pause, breathe, and slow down throughout your speech. Begin and end with a pause. Start your speech with a pause. Stand at the center of the stage, face the audience, and count to 3 while making eye contact. This establishes presence and authority. Color-coding speeches. If you struggle with pausing, try color-coding your speeches. Use 1 blue bar for a 1-beat pause and 2 red bars for a 2-beat pause to remind yourself to slow down and emphasize key points. By applying these techniques, you can enhance your public speaking with charisma, making your presentations more engaging and effective. Chapter 12. Charisma in a Crisis. Charismatic leadership in crisis. It's easier to be perceived as charismatic during a crisis because people in emergencies are more influenced by a leader's magnetism. They become charisma-hungry. Seizing the opportunity. In a crisis, you have an opportunity to gain charisma if you handle the situation effectively. Maintain equanimity. Charismatic leaders are known for staying calm or appearing calm, even during turbulent times. Express high expectations. Assigning people labels you want them to live up to can be powerful. Wharton School professor Robert House found that charismatic leaders often express high-performance expectations and show confidence in their team's ability to meet those expectations. Articulate a vision. Your vision should vividly illustrate the difference between the current situation and a better future. This vision gives your charisma staying power even after the crisis ends. Bold and decisive actions. Be bold and decisive. During a crisis, people turn to leaders who are confident and decisive. Crisis creates uncertainty and angst, and people seek out leaders who can diminish these feelings through decisive action. By maintaining composure, expressing high expectations, articulating a clear vision, and taking bold actions, you can enhance your charisma and effectively lead through a crisis. Chapter 13. The Charismatic Life. Managing praise, envy, and charisma. As you gain charisma, you'll attract both praise and envy. It's essential to manage these responses to maintain positive relationships. Here are some strategies. Compensation strategies. Refuse the glory. Downplay your achievements. Reflect the glory. Share the credit with others. Transfer the glory. Attribute your success to the help and support of others. Giving people a sense of ownership in your success can prevent resentment and foster pride and loyalty. Consider launching regular envy prevention campaigns. Envy prevention campaign. Justification. Create a reason to contact someone, for example. I'm talking to Sue, and your name came up. Appreciation. Thank them for their help or time, especially if it was a significant effort. Lay it all out. Detail how they helped you and acknowledge their effort. Impact. Explain the positive impact they had on you. Responsibility. This sequence. Justification. Appreciation. Laying out the impact. Responsibility, or jailer, creates a feeling of vested interest in your success. Managing oversharing. People can sometimes reveal too much, and it's crucial to handle this sensitively. Here are some approaches. Pay attention. If someone starts sharing too much, ask yourself if they'll regret it later. Interject a me too story. This interruption achieves 3 things. Pauses their flow, allowing them to slow down. Lets them hear a similar story, helping them feel less exposed. Provides a buffer for any shame they may feel later. If it's too late, and they've already overshared, Show them that their revelations are just one part of a larger, positive picture. Admire them for their openness to counteract any shame. Handling the spotlight. Leaders are often held to higher standards and must consistently demonstrate charisma, even during mundane tasks. Here are some tips. Allow yourself to be human. Accept and show your humanity and vulnerability. This approach can enhance your power by making you more relatable and avoiding alienation. Showing vulnerability. To effectively show vulnerability, share minor fears, hesitations, concerns, or regrets. This can make you more relatable and approachable. Ways to ease into sharing vulnerability. Use preambles like, I have to tell you, or I have to admit. Prepare the terrain by saying, I'm feeling a bit nervous about saying this, but by managing praise, envy, and charisma effectively, you can maintain positive relationships and enhance your leadership presence.